Who remembers what we talked about last week?
Fear.
It was fear, yes. Fear, what else?
Emotion.
Emotion,
Yeah.
thoughts, all that stuff. So my mind has been thinking about thinking.
It's a good start.
It's a great start. Been thinking about thinking. You know, if we can come in here and read scriptures and all this, but it don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. Not only that, if it don't make sense to us. So what? I mean, just being straight up. Maybe I don't think there's nobody here I'm gonna offend today, so that's good. But in my life, growing up in this church and that church, you know, we was taught all these things. I know I ain't the only one, but y'all can just be quiet and just let me take the blunt right here. I'll take it. I'll just throw it out there for everybody. Well, I sat there and I was taught this stuff, and it didn't make a bit of sense to me. Actually, it didn't even make sense. The whole concept of what I was being taught didn't make sense. Okay, so maybe today, that's why I have an agenda against organized religion. Because I looked up this morning, guess how many religions there are?
52 million.
No, well, that's probably how many people there are maybe, but yeah, so you're probably right, because everybody thinks their own thoughts. There's 4,200 or 4,200, whatever. I saw 4,200. I'm going to go with that. On the website, Organized Religions. 4,200. Alright, now 4,200. Okay, so 4,200, it may be 42,000, I don't know. But I'm going to go with what I saw at 4,200. That's a more conservative number. That's something we can wrap our mind around. 4,200 religions. Okay, so 4,200 different ideas about how life should be lived, right? Because that's what we base our life upon, is by our belief system, right? All right, so let's just write this up here at the top. If I spell something wrong, I don't want to hear it. Y'all know what it is. I don't care. Okay? So, belief. That's what our life is based upon. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
All right, no matter how you look at it, you base your life upon what you believe. Now, we know all through the Bible it talks about belief. And we was all told in church, well, just believe. Just believe. Just believe. Believe. Okay, well, I believe. Now what? I did. I believed. I believed in God, and I believed in Jesus, and I believed He came to save the world, and all that. I did. I believed. But was I saved? Am I saved because I believe?
No.
Now, I won't save because I still believed. I believed in God the whole time I was doing drugs, no matter where I was at, what I was doing, when I was stealing, when I was robbing, when I was doing that, all that. I still believed. But was I saved?
No.
I heard somebody the other day say a relative of theirs died, and they were in heavy addiction, and ultimately it took their life. Okay, I've got a bunch of friends like that, but anyway, I was talking to this lady, and she said, but you know what? He was saved, and he believed. And that's the greatest thing. And I had to keep my mouth shut because this lady was hurt. But in my mind, I'm thinking there's nothing great about that. Because he lost his life.
Go ahead.
He lost the greatest thing that he was ever given. He lost it. Okay, so what does he have now? Well, some people say heaven. Okay, well, Prove that to me. Prove it to me. Now, I told you, I'm going to go deep with you here today. So just prove that to me. Because nobody has been able to substantiate that to me, that even is true, that exists. Because I haven't saw it, but there is a way I have saw it. It's in my own life. Okay? So, in a belief system, I believe, and I'm just going to tell you what I believe, and I'm going to tell you what I've seen other people believe, and y'all can just decide what you believe, because that's the ultimate goal here. My ultimate goal for today is to hope that you figure out what you believe, because what you believe is going to determine your result. Right?
Yeah.
A result. Alright, so I didn't even. Y'all see these notes? Can y'all read that? No, you can't. I know what they mean though. It's not going to look like that when I get it done. Here. Alright, so a result. Everybody's heard of an end result, right?
Yeah.
Finish, brother.
Every day, every way, everything you do has a result. Alright?
Yeah.
Alright. Right here I'm going to write result. Alright, now I'll go with that one. That was way off. Okay. I'll take that. Alright. Result. Alright, now let's do something here. So, from belief, because belief is the core of what you are, I'm going to tell you that it starts with belief and it ends with result. So how do we get to result? Alright, I'm gonna make this. I'm just going to do this for the sake of time. We could talk about it and we could figure it out. So, we're going to go there in a minute, but in the beginning was what?
The Word.
The Word. And the Word was with God.
Yes.
And the Word
Was.
was God. Okay? Actually, let's read. Let's go there first. John 1. For those of you who haven't got there yet, what are you waiting for? John 1:1. Ready? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. So what was with God?
The Word.
But yet, the Word was God.
Yes.
The Word was God, the Word was with God. Okay? This is one of my favorite, this is like my favorite thing, by the way. And the same was in the beginning with God. The same was in the beginning with God. Okay, so if the same was in the beginning with God, and in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, then what was in the beginning? The Word. It was the Word. The Word, okay? And all things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made. In Him was life, and the life was what?
Light.
The light of men. Alright, who's the light of men? We are the light of men. Okay, now just to get all this out of the way, what would exist without the light of men?
Darkness.
Darkness. So therefore, without the light within us, without man having this light, then does God exist?
No.
Yes.
Well, He does, but
No, He doesn't. Because the light, He created the light, He was the light, and the light is in men.
yeah.
So without us, would He exist? This is getting really deep, I know. I'm going to get past this real quick. We'll think about this later. In Him was life. And who was life? And God was life. And the Word was life. And the life was the light of men, and the light shineth in darkness. And the darkness did what? Comprehended it not. Okay. There was a man sent from God whose name was John, and he came for a witness, to bear witness of the light. Alright, now I want you to look right here. This is a capital light. Before it was just a lowercase light. So this is the true light. Capital letter light. And all men through him might believe. He was not that light. What light?
God.
He was not the Word. He was not God. The capital light. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. Which lighteth what? Every man that come into the world. Okay, so right there, the born a sinner thing is just completely gone. Because the light is inside of every man. So therefore that takes the whole seek and find. I got to seek God and I got to find Him out of the whole picture. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So therefore, because that's one thing I was taught, is that I had to go find God, and once I found God, everything was going to be alright, and He would give me eternal life in heaven. That's what I was taught. I'm not here to ruffle feathers. I'm just telling you what I was taught. Alright, that's what I was taught. So, this right here, the light was already installed into man. Why was the light already installed into man? Because that same light that was in man, that same light, which is the Word that was in man, is the same Word that was in the beginning. And see, His light is us. Is the light that's in us. So therefore, why would He create something that was not for Him? Because God doesn't make mistakes.
Yes.
So why would He create this creature without a light inside of it? Because it wouldn't glorify Him, and everything He created is to glorify Him.
Yes.
Okay. So once the sinner is gone. That one's gone. Okay. Alright, so He was in the world, and the world was made by Him. How was He in the world? Through man.
Yeah.
He was in the world. From the beginning, through man, He created man. Therefore, He was in the world, because He was the light of men.
Yes.
But He was in the world, and the world was made by Him, and the world knew Him not. Why did the world know Him not? Because the world didn't know that the light was in them.
Right. That makes sense.
They didn't understand that they had a light in them. They didn't understand that they come fully installed with everything that they needed. That's why they kept doing all these things and sacrificing animals and I got to do this. I got to go to church on Sunday and I got to pay my 10% tithes. That's why they kept doing the things they were doing, because they didn't know that they had it inside of them. Are we not still doing the same thing in church?
Yes, sir.
Why? Because we don't know that we have the light inside of us. We don't know that we're built in from the day we were born with this thing, which is God, which is the Word, and it's become flesh. So the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Who's the Word? Jesus.
Yes.
He was the Word. The same Word was in the beginning, so ultimately, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So who was in the beginning?
God.
Jesus. Now we were taught a Trinity thing too, like, all these things, the God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost, but really, there's only one. We've talked a lot. All in church, I would always hear God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost. No, it's one. It's Jesus. It's the Word. That's it.
That's good.
And that Word became flesh and dwelt among us.
Yes.
And that Word is inside of us because that Word is the light, and that light is the light of men. So therefore, the Word is inside of us. Jesus is inside of us.
Yeah.
Now remember, we're talking about belief systems here.
Right.
That's why I wanted to go ahead and get this out of the way. And he came unto his own, and his own received him not. Jesus came into the flesh, into what he created, into his own light. And what was light and what was created by him didn't receive him. Who didn't receive him? The people, the people, the Sadducees and the Pharisees and all these people who hung him, who killed him. They didn't receive him. But, now buts are good in this situation. Buts are not good whenever you're trying to make an excuse for yourself. But this is a good but. But, as many as received him, to them, who's them? The ones who received him, he gave he power to become the sons of God.
Oh yeah.
The sons of what? God, of the Word. Sons of the light. Right? Okay, I'm just breaking this thing down. Even to them that believe on his name. Wait, even to them that believe on whose name? Jesus. The one that become flesh.
Come on.
So if you can't wrap your mind around God, even if you believe on Jesus. Now, I'm told you I'm going to kick over some cows right here. See, religion has got it all twisted. Because I've always had this problem why other people in other religions could live this life of abundance and could have all this goodness inside of them even though they didn't know the name of Jesus. Because they figured out God is the light inside of them.
Yeah.
I told you this is not going to feel good to some people today. For all these hardcore Bible thumpers. Alright, so even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, or which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. Alright. Belief system. Come back with me now. Because that's what I believe. That's what I hope we all believe. Okay? That in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and we were with him in the beginning. From the Word. Alright. So now, back to belief. First you have your belief system, and what is made up, what comes after the belief system to get to a result? A word. A thought. In the beginning was a word, because we went over this before too. You have to think about something in order to say it. So if in the beginning was the word, and God had a thought. So really in the beginning was a thought. And what was that thought? It was all of us.
Yeah.
It was the light of men. Because remember, God's mindful of you. In the beginning, you were his thought. Okay. That's just good to me. I mean, if God thought about me, you know. thought. Let's do this. Or a word. Because a word is a thought. Everybody in here thinks. I mean, words go through their head, right? Before they speak. Well, not always. Okay. All right. So you got a thought and you got a word. Now, what do these thoughts and words make up?
Action.
There's something before action. You have to make a what? A decision. You have to decipher between the thoughts. A decision. I don't care. A decision. And then comes action. And what happens after your action?
Results.
Well, results, but each action has an equal or opposite reaction. And the reaction is your result. Right? Reaction. And then your result. Alright, so what's a decision made up of? Alright, so yes, it's thoughts and words, but it's a decision is well, you can make the right decision or wrong decision. Right?
Yes.
Alright, so let's say right or wrong. I mean, you can say this is a good decision. And let's just break it down as simple as we can. Or a bad decision. Right? It's elementary stuff. This is what I need to be teaching my son. This is good decision. That was a bad decision. Now the result of a bad decision, you get your butt wore out. Don't throw your food on the floor. That's a bad decision. And this is what happens. Okay?
Ooh.
But I know that's very elementary, but this is it. I tell you what, this whole Bible is very, very elementary. It's very simple. Okay, and because it's very simple, why does it seem so hard? Because we make it hard. Why do we make it hard? It's not because we don't understand, it's because we choose, we have a decision. And in our decision, we base our decision, alright, what's your decision to go out to eat based upon? Well, you went out to eat there before and it was good, right?
Past experiences.
Past experiences. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Let's just draw this all the way up.
Your belief system.
Past. What else? What else?
Favorites.
Yeah, okay, that's a past. So it's a past. I eat there and that place was horrible and I ain't going back, right? Just go with me. I know this is very elementary. So if that's past, being on the we put past on the wrong side though, because we've talked about the past many times, looking back to the past. All right, so let's put future on this side. Let's put future over there. All right, let's do this. A decision could be based upon what? A lie or truth, right? Hey, you ask me a question, I can lie to you just as quick as I can tell you the truth. I'll make that decision. That's up to you to believe me, but I'll make that decision. What else? I'm just going to go on and get down to the root of it. Light, dark. Christ? 7. How about that? Does that make everything pretty easy? Okay. So we understand where we're going with this. So my question is, considering that in the beginning was a Word, was the Word, and the Word was with God. Alright, we know that the Word was God. Then what influences and what determines the result of our life?
How we live the life.
Now, it's not how we live the life, but it's what we believe.
Yeah.
All through the Bible you hear, just believe. Just believe. Believe on what? Believe on Jesus. Believe, he said, believe me. Take of me, eat of me. All through the Bible you hear these different analogies for just believe. But see, the thing is, what he was trying to get them to understand, that if they believed on him and the words that he was saying, because those words were truth and light, then their result would be what? The kingdom of heaven. Right? Now let me ask you this. What is the purpose if I believe that one day I'm going to, when I die now, told you this about it. This is the cow kicker right here for most people. When I die, one day that I'm going to gain my result. What if that is my belief system? Because, yes, we have Christianity, but within Christianity, how many different belief systems are within that? A bunch. Now, each belief system, the Baptists believe this, the Methodists believe this, the Pentecostals believe, but they're all Christians. So what's the difference? A big difference. So if I believe the Word and my thought process is wrapped around that I'm going to do and make my decisions being these things based that one day, my result is one day is going to be, that's when I'm going to get my reward, then what is the purpose of me producing anything being a good result now? Other than producing nothing, because I think one day it's going to get better for me.
That's good. Yeah.
One day it's going to be better. One day I'm going to have my reward. All I have to do is just believe that Jesus is who he said he is. I believe that. And you know what? I would be dead today, just like that other lady was talking about. I would have been dead today if I would have kept believing that. But instead, Christ came to give us what?
Life.
Life and life more abundantly. There's nothing about death in that. Life and life more abundantly. So I can have this abundant life now. And because I believe that, my result is completely different.
That's right.
As soon as I started believing that, my result changed tremendously. But we can definitely say this right here. So in order, let me put this up here. Everybody see this? No? Maybe? Yeah. Alright. So my belief always ends up with a result. Okay? And what should happen is that result should feed my belief even more. Right? Let me just change this for you. The result is your fruit. You can judge a man by what? By the fruit that he bears. I'm sorry, I can talk to somebody for 5 minutes and I can eat their tree and and taste their fruit and tell you if it's good or bad. Why? Because every time the fruit that you bear, you're bearing it for everybody to taste of. It's not hidden. It's out in the open. Okay? So, if the result is my fruit, then my fruit should feed my belief system. Here's an example. Here's an example. Okay, so I sow myself. Dale's a perfect example. He sows in the whole vet. Well, guess what? His fruit is the people that come out of that program, and it has changed their life. That's the fruit, but that fruit encourages his belief system to make him say, you know what, I'm doing the right, I got to do more. What I'm doing is good, I got to do more. It encourages his beliefs, his result encourages his belief system. Okay? Now last week we talked about the brain, emotions, Matt. So where does decision making, where is your decision making located? Does anybody remember? It's up here. Whatever you want to call it. Through the spinal column, you have to go all the way up here to make a decision. But back here is your emotions. So therefore, it has to go through your emotions in order to make the decision. And therefore, your emotions become what? In the way. Your emotions become in the way of your decision making. And when your emotion comes in the way, what happens? You react.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, I'm going to show you something right here. So now all of a sudden, your result. Who's had bad results in their life? Anybody? Okay, good. I thought it was just me.
Time or two.
But see, your result does what? Causes you to react. And then you start to act upon, and you start to make decisions about your way of thinking. And now all of a sudden your belief system is based upon a result, a bad result. So everything goes backwards. That's the difference between living in the past and living in the future. Because when you look at the past, guess what? Well, the result I had from eating that place, I got food poisoning. Alright, because I got food poisoning, my reaction is, well, I'm never going to eat there again. And so you go out of your way with your action to tell other people, don't eat there. But see, your thought toward that place is completely different than, say, somebody else's thought. Maybe that maybe you didn't even get food poisoning from that place. This probably is not a good example, but it's all I got. But see, that encourages your belief system. Let's go a different way with that. Belief. I believe that one day, everything's going to get better. I used to believe this. I did. I used to believe something magical was going to happen and change my life. Okay. Let me tell you first, I was wrong. So because I believed that, I acted on that. And I got results based upon what I believed. And my results was always, in the end, it was nothing. It was darkness, it was pain, it was suffering, it sucked. All the way around. It was just no good. Okay, but because it was no good, see, I wanted the easy road. I didn't want to have to work to do anything. Because I told you I wanted somebody else, some magical thing to swoop in and fix all my problems. Well, the fruit that I bared was bad fruit. But I acted on the bad fruit that I had. because it's all I had. Everybody seen my fruit. Everybody knew it was bad. So my reaction encouraged me to act the same way. Why? Because this is what I always got, and I knew that one day it was going to get better now. One day something was going to change my life, and that caused me to act in the same way because I thought it was going to get better. I really believed that one day it would get better. But it never did, and I kept going, and I kept going, I kept doing the same thing, the same action, and I kept making the same decisions which were bad,
There you go.
which were wrong, which were based upon past results, which was lies, darkness, and it was all about me. And because of that, my thoughts fed my beliefs, my negative thoughts. So I said, I ain't nobody. I'm not going to be anybody. I'm just a drug addict. That's all I'm ever going to be, is a drug addict. I'm never going to be able to help anybody. And that encouraged my belief even more. That either one day it would be better. But see, then all of a sudden I changed my mind. Then all of a sudden I said, you know what? I'm tired of this result. The result sucked. Every time. I was tired of my results. Because my result was almost going to be death.
Right. That's right.
Because that is the end result of living in darkness. Is death. Every time. And because I was tired of getting that result, I changed this whole thing around and I said, you know what? I believe in what this says. That in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And that I got this light inside of me. And it's already there. I don't have to find it. It's not going to come hit me, or I'm not going to find it one day, but it's already there. And if I can understand that this light is here, then all of a sudden I have power to become a son of God, of the light, of the Word. And if I have that power to become the Son of God, of the Word, of the light, and God is a good, good Father, then I don't have to live this life anymore. Because actually, what am I doing living this life now? If the light's already in me, then why? Well, hold on, something's messed up here. I'm living this way because I choose to live this way. So just like my belief system changed, when my belief system changed, all of a sudden, now I believe I'm a son, so my thoughts and my words begin to change.
Right.
First, thoughts and words had to change. Because I can't run around here talking about I'm a drug addict anymore.
That's right.
I can't be running around here with all these clowns talking about all this foolish stuff, all about how we did this last weekend and we da-da-da-da-da. None of that stuff even matters anymore. I can't be running around talking about that stuff. I got to change my words, my thoughts. That was the hardest part. I told you, going this way takes work. You got to do something. You got to put some skin in the game to get something out. And don't nobody want to work, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there. So I had to work to change my thoughts, to change my words. And when I started changing my thoughts and my words, now the decisions I made, well, they won't influence by emotion no more, because I wasn't looking at the past. I was looking at the future, about where I could be, what I can be, what I have the potential to be, the Son of God. So I had to change my looking back instead of looking forward. And now, well, I'm not going to make that decision because that decision always ends up with this fruit, this result. So I'm not doing that anymore because I don't want this result up here like it was back there. So now my result, because I'm not making the same decisions, I'm on the right side looking toward the future, making good decisions in the light instead of darkness, in truth, my results begin to change. Actually, first my action began to change. I started doing things differently. I didn't act the same. And so now that I didn't act the same, the reaction I got was completely different. Because now when I would put my action of good in and my action of truth in, the reaction was building something instead of tearing it up, taking it away. It was giving something instead of stealing something. And therefore my result was completely different. Exactly. To change the way you think. But you have to change not only your thoughts and words. Actually, you can't change that until you change your belief. I always had a hard time wondering why people would sit in church every Sunday 40, 50 years and sit there, and then on Monday morning they would just screw you over in a business deal. They were stealing from people. They were lying to people. Prominent people now. Prominent people. They were in the shadows doing shady things. But in church they were there. Why? Because they believed that one day, they believed if I do X, Y, and Z, if I go to church and I sit there and everybody sees me at church and I dress nice and what everybody perceives me as, and I pay my tithes, then well, that's what the preacher said. But their result and their fruit is bad. All because of their belief system. But I done told you, I'm completely against church altogether. A lot of people don't like it. I mean, they don't. Well, guess what? I don't care. But see, it's not about that. Because He didn't come to give us church. Actually, He didn't even come to give us the light. He didn't come here to give us the light. He come here and show us how to be the light.
That's good. That's right. That's right. That's good. Giving us an example.
Yeah, I always used to hear, well, do you know why Jesus came? Jesus came to save you. Yeah, He did. He came to save my way of thinking. He came to save our belief system. He didn't come to give us anything, but He gave us everything. Just by being an example, just by showing us. Hey, this is what you do. Take my words. Eat my words. Eat of me. Take what I'm saying. Guess what? We're always eating of people. Who are we eating of, though? That's the thing. Because you're eating of other people's beliefs. When you're sitting there talking to somebody, guess what? You're eating their beliefs. And you're either feeding thoughts, good thoughts, or you're feeding it bad. And it's determining your result. So let me tell you, if you got bad results in your life and you don't like how it is, guess what? It's your fault. Hate to tell you that. Oh, that hurts. Guess what? Ain't nobody going to fix it for you. It's your fault because of who you eat of. I had to start eating of people that was good. I would have never made it out. I had to start following people that had something to give, that had something good to give, so that I could be a giver. I used to be a taker, a thief, all that stuff. In the natural and the spiritual. I got a long track record on both sides. But when I changed that, my belief, everything changed. And it's still changing. How about that? I ain't got it yet. I still got some bad beliefs that encourage bad decisions that result in negative results. All the time, a bunch of them. But it's all because of what I believe. I watched The Matrix last night. This is where all this come out of somehow.
Yeah, sounds like it.
There's one part, it's just one of my favorite parts. He's sitting there. Who has seen the movie? Okay. Well, he's sitting there with what's the starts with an M? Morpheus. As soon as he walks in, he said, guess what? He sat down, he said, he put his hands out, he had 2 pills. So you can take a red pill or you can take a blue pill. The blue pill, you'll go right back. You'll go right back to what you've always known. What's easy, what's comfortable for you. You'll go right back to it. But if you take this red pill, everything's going to change. It's never going to be the same again. And see, he said either way, either decision you decide to make, there's no going back. There's no coming back. That's where we're at. That's a heavy movie, man. That movie will mess you up. That is a heavy duty movie, but that's life. You're going to take the red pill or the blue pill. Either way, there's no turning back. You're going to decide to live your comfortable life even though it's in misery. Because Neo was miserable. He was living, if you remember correctly, he was living 2 lives.
Yep.
He was miserable. And either way, he could have went back and lived 2 lives and been comfortable with not knowing. See, that's why a lot of people ain't here no more. Because this stuff right here ain't comfortable. It ain't comfortable to put it back on you and say, you know what, it's your fault. It's not your mom and daddy's fault. They want to go to church and be fed some little brownies and stuff. Oh, here you go. Here, this is good for you. I know it tastes real nice. They don't want to have to eat nothing that's going to make them think and make them do something. See, this is the red pill. The red pill, there ain't no going back. You can't sit in here and know this stuff and go back. You can't. It's impossible. But this is life. And you can go back to your old miserable life, and you can live your life, and you can die hoping that one day it's going to get better, hoping that one day something's going to change, or you can pop this red pill and change it for good. Yeah, you got to work. Yeah, you got to do something. But see, with the red pill, they was out to save millions of lives. They was out to change the whole race. They was out to change humanity's whole course. Well, guess what? When you take the red pill and you decide you're going to do something, that's exactly what you do. One ripple goes so far. I love that movie. Joe likes that movie. Let it just warp your mind. That's what you need. I need my mind warped. I love you guys.